Morning, everyone. So we finished the Sky Song book yesterday. Um, so we're going to start looking at your topic, which is Egypt. And I'm going to read you, like I did for when you were doing Brazil, some folk tales from Egypt. Now, some of them have been retold. So you may actually know these stories. They've just been retold because obviously they're very, very old. And the first one I found, funnily enough, is actually the Cinderella story. So we all know this. So the names have changed. And this is called the Cinderella story, The Red Slippers. Now it's very, very short. So bear with me, it's not very long at all. So you're not going to be here very long with me unless I can really string it out, because obviously I miss you all. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in ancient Egypt, there lived a lovely slave girl named Raphdosis. The other slaves who lived in the grand house by the Nile rarely spoke to Raphdosis. If truth be told, the slave girls were jealous of her beauty. The slave boys thought she was proud and haughty. That means that she's a bit rude and doesn't really talk to them. She thinks she's better than them. Certainly, people said Raphdosis was beautiful, but she was not haughty. Rather, she was gentle and very shy. She barely remembered her life before she had been captured, which had happened when she was quite young. The only thing she had left from her former life was a pair of beautiful red slippers. Now I wonder, can you think of another story where there's red shoes or red slippers involved? I can. Raphdosis treasured her slippers and kept them hidden far away from the other slaves. Sometimes, when no one was about, Raphdosis took her slippers from their hiding place and held them up to the sun or the moon. It always made her feel better, holding her slippers, watching the stones sparkle in the light. They were not real stones. Raphdosis knew this, but they were beautiful, just the same, sparkling away. One night, exhausted from the day filled with work, Raphdosis was too tired to sleep. She quietly slipped away from the rooftop where the other slaves were sleeping. It was a beautiful night. Raphdosis took her slippers from their hiding place and held one slipper up to the moon, turning it this way and that. She lost herself in the glittering stones, feeling better than she had done all day. It was fast. She did not even have time to cry out. The eagle came from nowhere. He disappeared into the moonlit sky, his prize, one bright red slipper clutched in his claw. Stunned, Raphdosis slid the shoe she had left back into its hiding place. The tears came suddenly and fast. Far away in another city entirely, the pharaoh was sitting in his gardening, listening to his vizier fill him in on the happenings of the day, as his vizier did every night. When an eagle flew into the garden. The eagle dropped a bright red slipper into the pharaoh's lap and soared away high, high into the sky. The pharaoh and the vizier stared at each other in surprise. The woman who owns this slipper must be very rich, the vizier decided. The vizier was caught by an idea. I shall ask every official in every city of the land to see if anyone has reported a missing red slipper of great quality covered in these bright, shiny, sparkly jewels. The pharaoh turned the shoe this way and that, watching the stones glitter in the moonlight. Yes, my vizier, do what you can to find her. I am sure the woman who owns the slipper would appreciate its return. 4 days later, one of the vizier's officials reported he had found the young owner of the ruby red slipper, but she was a slave in a great house on the Nile in the city of Memphis. The vizier did not believe that a slave could own such a beautiful slipper. He decided to visit Memphis for himself and see the slave girl in person. If she had lied to the official, she would be punished. But when the vizier demanded Raftos's prove she was the owner, she pulled the matching ruby-red slipper from its hiding place. The vizier sat thinking for a moment. I believe Horus, the son of Isis and Osiris, sent Pharaoh an eagle with a message. You, my child, are coming with me back to my palace. The family did not want to lose a slave, but nobody argued with the vizier. The vizier was the most important man in all of Egypt, except, of course, for Pharaoh. The vizier handed the owner of the grand house on the Nile a bracelet of gold in payment for the slave girl. All the way back to the palace, the vizier smiled and nodded. How surprised he'll be, and happy, I have no doubt at all. He will be very, very happy. And the vizier was right. Pharaoh and the slave girl soon fell in love. They were married in the spring and lived happily ever after. The end. And that is your very first Egyptian folk tale. I'll see you tomorrow for some more. Have a lovely day. Bye.